Hey guys, Norm with Bear Bull Traders. It's Monday, April 1st, 2019. Happy April Fool's Day. Andrew ended up having to take a last-minute trip, so he was not in the room this morning. Carlos called me a little bit before the pre-market show was going to start and let me know he was sick. So I was flying solo in the pre-market show, and then I knew I'd be live trading in the room with Brian as well, which can be a little nerve-wracking if you're not used to it. So that's part of, I think it's part of why my morning was the way it was. Also, SPY was gapping up about 0.75% on some China data. The futures spiked yesterday evening when that data came out, when the futures opened. So I knew today was going to be a little bit interesting. Brian called it in the chat room at the start, you know, when things gap up this big, and our gappers list was primarily everything associated with that bump in the market, that things could be a little choppy at the open. I was expecting that. I was kind of expecting a bit of profit taking or sell-off, and then possibly a run. So anyway, we'll get to my trades. It turned out to be an okay day, but frankly, my win rate was only 33%. I had 2 wins, 4 losses, but I kept the losses in check, which helped me make the day green. Anyway, so I'll start out my first trade on BABA. Like I said, it sold off at the open, but this candle closed white, and it closed above VWAP. So once it came here and it started to go, I actually took the break of that, got a slightly bad fill. I was hoping it would break this 2-minute moving average and pop. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. My stop was VWAP once it got up there. I got out just before VWAP because I saw this volume come in here, and I went ahead and threw that out the window and got out of the trade. Then my third trade, I'll go back to my second trade in a second. My third trade, I saw it hold the moving average down here. I thought, okay, now the sell-off is over. Volumes died off a little bit. We're going to bounce, try to take it as it broke through VWAP. It made one quick spike and then came back down through. I realized when it sold off as hard as it did on that it still wasn't a strong position. And the selling was going to go on a little bit longer. So my fourth trade, and then I'll go to my second and then last two. Fourth trade was on Apple. This was the same kind of scenario. Apple had come down, touched previous day close and these other previous day levels. I tried for a bounce on it. I knew this wasn't a soup. It also had the 5-minute moving average here, which was probably its strongest area of support at that point, even though it proved not to be enough. I thought this had a decent chance, but it wasn't a huge win rate success just because of this overall trend. So I tried it. It didn't work out. Oh well, I took a tiny loss on that, got out just below break even. So then my other trades were on NVDA this morning. Another similar trade I took at the open was a bounce off this 5-minute after this wicked down here. You could see it did the same thing as those other two. I tried to get a little bit of a better entry by going just before VWAP. Got a nice quick spike. I took some profits out because I had seen what was going on with the previous trade getting chopped up a little bit in BABA. So I took some profits. I saw it falling again, so I jumped out of it right there, just above break even for a tiny win. Then NVIDIA, my last 2 trades were also on NVIDIA. So those previous 4, I was currently sitting 1 for 4. I knew I was getting chopped up. I had a bias of it going one way I was sticking with. You could have shorted these and it would have been decent, not great. You still probably would have gotten chopped a little bit. But then on this trade, I finally saw some of this volume dying down. And I took this, it bounced off the previous day high, Friday's high that you can see right there. I went ahead and took it long, once again, stopped out. But I took a 10-minute break between that Apple trade and this next to last trade I took today. And it kind of cleared my mind. Even though that one trade worked out for a minor loss, it kept me clear. I saw that, so the second time it came down, it couldn't make a new low down here. And I said, okay, I'm going to try this one more time, this bounce off of here. Maybe it's just my day, but this looks like a higher probability to me. So you can see I took this trade at that bounce. It was 180.74. I took actually a little bit bigger size than this previous one. That's why I got 2 candles. Took them at the same time. There was no averaging or anything. It was just 2 hot keystrokes. Bounced off previous day close. My target on this was to get back up to this moving average up here. So, and I figured it had a possibility of even 183-ish or high of day at some point during the day holding the shares, which it looks like it might if it hasn't all. Yeah, it might if it hasn't already. It tried 183 and then stalled, so you can see just recently in the last 15 minutes. But, so I took this long. I did not take any off at VWAP. I was expecting it probably to pause and then push through. There was good U.S. manufacturing data that came and helped this move. And then it sold off. But I didn't get stopped out. I didn't partial out. And it was all because of volume. So it had increasing volume, and this is the biggest candle since right at the open. So I was pretty confident that this was a little bit of a fake move, especially so when this started going down and the volume was as light as it wasn't as heavy as this previous white candle or this one. I went ahead and held, kept my normal stop. Yeah, I had some nerves. I put a stop in and walked away for a few minutes so that I wouldn't have to think about it or second guess myself, actually. Did exactly that. So then I came back and I saw, okay, now we've touched this level. This is a beautiful W double bottom with the second high higher than the previous. We're probably off to the races now. Sure enough, did this, tested VWAP, started writing these moving averages. I took some out as it crossed 182 because that looked like it was some resistance at the whole number. And then I started taking off more of the position here. I held about, I think it was a 15-20% of it. Once I saw it come down and break 182 to the downside, I went ahead and got out, which actually I'm okay with. Even though it didn't come all the way down to my entry, you know, this was a pretty massive drop. It was over $1, so I was okay. I'd already taken most of my profit. And it gave me a good day. So anyway, those are my trades for the day. Thanks for watching. Bear Bull Traders Challenge ended last Friday. Carlos and I are going to be live tonight on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Link is in our channel, so check that out. Winners will be there. We've got some cool analysis of things that went on and everything else. So like I said, trade safe, be smart. Thanks for watching.